I thought that it was very important that my colleagues and I have the opportunity not only to discuss what is happening right now in Montgomery County, but to get a better understanding of the recent history. What are the circumstances that cause these young people who are now in Montgomery County to flee? Why did they feel that they were threatened? And to put the experience in context, what have they been through both in their country of origin as well as what are they experiencing here?
Within Central America and El Salvador in particular, there is a context of political polarization, which make it difficult for the FMLN and the Arena Party, the two dominant political forces, to come together over a national public policy solution. There has also been chronic low growth throughout Central America, also El Salvador, since the end of the civil wars, something like 1% to 2% per year. There are very low levels of domestic investment or foreign investment, in large part because of the conditions of insecurity, and therefore a lack of job creation to provide alternative livelihoods for young people. A total of 6,657 people were murdered in El Salvador last year, and to put that in context, that is a 70% increase over the figure for 2014. El Salvador has, if not the highest murder rate in the world, one of the highest outside of situations of direct conflict, such as Syria. The rate is 104 per 100,000. That is 20 times the rate in the United States and over 5 times that of Mexico, where we hear a lot in the news about the problem of drug cartel-fueled violence. In terms of the relationship between gang activity and recruitment in Montgomery County schools, I would say that the best approach is to identify students who are most at risk, who are failing academically, who have difficulties at home either because of domestic abuse or an absence of adult supervision, and really target the prevention programs to those people. It's obvious, I think, across the board that early intervention is less costly and more effective than the kinds of things that would happen further down the line.
A lot of the economic failures in many of the Central American countries and Latin America can be traced back to a timid, I would say, approach to economic development in Central and the Caribbean and Latin America. I think that we cannot ignore the fact that the United States is the superpower and that it is in this hemisphere, and that for many, many, many years, there have been the history of, I think, missed opportunities that have left also this vacuum. And so that's what I was referring to, that of course there is no absolute responsibility, but we cannot ignore the fact that, that the United States is that superpower. And unfortunately, that vacuum has created opportunities for drug trafficking to just flourish. Many countries in the Caribbean, Haiti being one of them as well. And unfortunately, that just spirals into total, failed states. And I think, the situation with El Salvador, I hear a lot about the concerns of a complete failed judiciary. And how do you begin to rebuild those countries from scratch? It's going to be, I think, a long haul. And in some ways, even though we cannot bear the total responsibility, obviously, we're sort of the big players in the hemisphere. It would be, I think, in my opinion, very important, especially with the 50, I think, million plus Latinos in the United States of America, for the United States to have a little bit of a much more robust foreign policy, positive one, constructive one, towards our neighbors in the South.